Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, and then I post it up to Facebook, and then I do these questions on Wednesday. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Lucky, what are you doing? Stop licking the floor. Oh my God. Dog. Yeah, hi. What was I saying? I have no idea. Okay. Not anybody else's opinion, not anybody else's, I don't represent any other therapist. It's all me. I'd like to thank my sponsor, BetterHelp, BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They're an online therapy company. They are international. You just go on, fill out some questions, and they will get you with a licensed master's level or PhD level therapist. If you're outside the United States, they can place you with somebody. So that is awesome and very helpful for people that are waiting for literally years, with a really bad system of getting to help. So anyway, thank you. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. Like I said, they're international, they're everywhere, and they're easy to find and easy to get to, and they're affordable. So one of the things that I had a naysayer say is, oh, they're so expensive. And I'm like, do you know how much I charge per hour? No, these guys are immensely affordable, and they do packages. So yeah, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. So they're a good company. I've had a lot of people that I've referred to them that has liked them and is continuing to go to them. So thank you, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. Okay, there that is. All right, so let's dive into the question. Can abusers program you to become them, to come to them for every answer? Yes, 110%. Usually I see narcissistic mothers doing that, but narcissistic fathers can do that as well. So yeah, they program you to not seek help from anybody but them. And it's a control issue. It's a power and control issue. So even when you grow up and go away, they expect you to come to them. Absolutely. For every question, every issue, everything. So yeah, that's absolutely something they do. And like I said, it's a power and control issue. It's a way of them continuing to stay in control. And you don't have to always go to your parent. You don't, it's good for you to find your friends, like your real friends, and to start trusting your gut and looking things up yourself and consulting with peers, that kind of thing. So that's going to be really a good thing for you. And honestly, what I found when I was growing up is that the enmeshment from my mom was huge. She wanted to be involved in every aspect of my life. And I finally had to not tell her things. Like if something was going on, I didn't go to them. I didn't go to mom and dad. I would go to one of my sisters, or I would go to a friend, or I would, look stuff up, or I would talk to a trusted professor, or, whatever. It's like, because not everything needs to be known for your parents. It's like, it's none of their business. It's none of your business. So a little bit of separation, a little bit of, undoing those apron strings, So yeah, they do program the kids to go to them for literally everything. And you don't want to do that. You really don't. I mean, if it's a healthy relationship, you could, but if it's an unhealthy relationship and they're using the information against you, or they're using it as a power and control thing, then no. You don't want to do that. Okay. I am in the middle of a high conflict divorce. Actually, I'm in the beginning of a high conflict divorce. My ex disappeared. I'm having a hard time having them served for the order of protection. What do I do now? Okay, well, this is a game that abusers play, is when they know they're being served with either divorce papers or order of protections, they'll disappear. So what you can do, and it costs money, it's not inexpensive. I mean, this is the bad news. You could hire a private detective and you could, have them tracked down. That's one way to do it. I would speak to an attorney and see what they say. And sometimes attorneys have private detectives that they use and they can get a discounted price. So, talk to somebody in the legal profession and find out what to do. Especially if it's an order of protection, you want to make sure that they get served so that if they come anywhere near you, you're somewhat safe. Hang on just a second. Grab my water. Oh my goodness. Okay. So where was I? So yeah, hiring a private detective would not be a bad idea. It's expensive. I would talk to an attorney and see what they say. You could also ask the court. You know, sometimes the court clerks will give you some, not advice, but kind of point you in the right direction. It depends on the court clerk. You know, some of them are helpful and some of them are just not. So, yeah. So basically, what you do now is you've gotta get him hunted down, and have him served, absolutely, or her served, whatever. So, and they do this for divorce and they do this for orders of protection because they don't want to have to deal with whatever. So, yeah, there that is. Okay. Is there such a thing as pure OCD or a dark empath? No. Here's the deal. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of these social media sites, all of these influencers are needing to make a mark for themselves. So they are they're reinventing the wheel and they're renaming things that do not exist. Okay. I had somebody contact me the other week demanding to know that if I understood pure OCD. That is an internet term. That is not a psychological term. So dark empath, that's an internet term. That is not a psychological term. Is there such a thing as a dark empath? No. So there's dark triads, to be sure. So no. So you guys have got to be very, very careful who you listen to. Somebody else the other day was also going, oh, I heard this person on YouTube and they're a recovered narcissist. And I'm like, no such critter. No such critter. So you've got to be very, very careful who you listen to. And where are they getting their information from? Why do you think I quote where I get my information from all the time? So that first of all, I'm not talking out of my hind end. And second of all, you can go look it up yourselves. Here's the title. Here's the author. Here's the site that I got it off of. Look, Psychology Today. Boom. There you go. You know what I'm saying? It's really annoying the living crap out of me when people listen to social media in general. Any of them, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and these influencers are desperate to make a name for themselves and to differentiate themselves from everybody else out there talking about narcissism. And the truth of the matter is, those are not terms. Those are not terms. Those are not things, okay? So you want to make sure that whoever you're listening to knows what they're talking about, has their degree, has been in the field for a super long time, is not making stuff up to differentiate themselves, is actually giving advice that is helpful and truthful and checkable. Does that make sense? So be very, very, very careful since we're on the whole full things. So there's when an influencer comes up with some new terminology for something that has been around for millennia, it gives me a headache. It really does. Because it muddies the water. So unless you have your degree, unless you know what you're talking about, unless you're doing research 10 ways to Sunday and have truly discovered something new, shut the hell up and sit the hell down. So there that is. Okay. How long do abusers continue to stalk and hoover? It can be for a lifetime, depending on how crazy they are. Now, speaking of dark triads, if you're dealing with somebody that is antisocial, aka psychopath, a control freak, Machiavellian, and narcissistic, okay, you're dealing with somebody who is all the way down at the end of the spectrum. Antisocial means that the rules of the land, the social glue, the social sticky stuff that keeps us moving together in civility do not apply to them. So the rules don't apply. Rules don't apply. Social values do not apply. Morals do not apply. They truly believe they are above the law, and that makes them dangerous. They cuckoo. Cannot push that enough. They're crazy. And they're dangerous because they think they're above the law. And they think they're smarter than everybody else. And they think they're never going to get caught. And they think that they can outwit anybody and everybody. I mean, that's across the board. they can continue to stalk and hoover for a very, 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 very long time, sometimes until either they kill you or they die. Seriously. So you always want to take stalking seriously, 110%. The only other time I've seen them stop is when it's clear they're not going to win. So remember, narcissists are all about the win. So if they can't win, they'll come up with some reason why they have to stop. They will. Oh, well, I intimidated him. I don't need to do it anymore. They'll lie to themselves. Great, fine. Tell yourself whatever story you need to sleep with. Just leave my client alone. So, hang on. Oh my God, the allergies have been so bad this week. We had this dust storm come in on Saturday, and it's just been, ugh. Anyway, so they can stalk for a very, very long time. Now, hoovering, a little different than stalking, but hoovering. So, okay, let's talk about the difference between stalking and hoovering. Stalking is when they show up to your work. They show up at your house. They're showing up at your grocery store, showing up at your gym, trying to engage you in conversation or intimidation. They'll just show up and stare you down kind of thing. They'll leave notes for you. That's stalking, okay? Or they'll stalk you on social media. They do cyber stalking. So that's why you want to lock down all your social media. You want to not broadcast where you're going, what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Especially if you have a stalker. They don't need to have advanced knowledge of how to get a hold of you. So you want to be very careful about that. Hoovering is where they contact you, sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years, sometimes decades after the breakup and want to see you. That's a hoover. So hoovering is where they, contact you. Oh, baby, I've been thinking about you. You've been on my mind. I miss you. It'll be different this time. Let's go out and have coffee. Let's get together. They're trying to suck you back into their orbit is what they're trying to do. The hoovering can be gone. You break up and you don't hear from them for like years. And then decades later, like literally 20 years later, you'll get an out of the blue friend request or DM or email or text or whatever. You want to block them every way possible so that they cannot hoover you. Because that temptation, oh, well, it'd be so nice to see them again. Gosh, I haven't seen them. And that is the inner child talking. So you don't want to see them again. Once you are broken off and away from an abuser, stay away. Because all they'll do is get right back into your head and it'll be worse than it was before. So yeah, and they'll do that. They'll do it in the name of friendship. It's like, well, I miss you. We were such good friends. Or, oh gosh, it'll be different this time. Or, whatever their excuse is. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it can be decades and you just block them. You don't respond. Don't respond. You don't owe them anything. And I think the big mistake a lot of people make is that they get one of these emails and they feel compelled, like almost like an obsession, to respond. Well, but they're being nice. No. If you open that door, they're going to kick that door open all the way and you're going to be right back where you were 20 years ago. And you don't want that. So yeah, the hoovering can last for decades. The stalking can go on for a very, very, very long time. And it's frightening. And as soon as you realize you have a stalker, you go get an order of protection. 110%. Now, some of the judges are making it harder and harder to get orders of protection, which I think is a load of crap. But you want to get an order of protection. You want to get all your evidence together. Save every text, every email, every threatening note, every anything. Get your witnesses together and go in and get an order of protection. And then if they violate it, you call the police every single time. And if a police officer has a problem with it, you get their badge number and you call the judge. Seriously, I'm tired of these freaking a-holes not doing their job. And there's some cops out there that won't. Now, there's some cops out there that will. So don't assume that every cop is going to be a complete jackwagon, but there's enough of them out there that make it difficult for targets of abuse to stay safe. So don't take no for an answer. If they're like, oh, we're not going to report this or we're not going to do this, you go over their head. You find out who their supervisor is and you turn them in. Absolutely 100%. I'm tired of BS. I really am. Especially when it comes to somebody's life. Because what makes me so angry is when I see somebody being stalked and them asking for help, and this is usually a very public person that this happens to, and then lo and behold, they end up getting killed by their stalker. This actually just happened not too long ago. It was in the news. She was a CEO of something, and her ex pushed his way into the apartment and threw her over the balcony. And he'd been threatening her for months. So, and nobody took it seriously. You got to take it seriously. Just like I have to take every danger to self or danger to others seriously, the effing cops should be taking danger to self, danger to others seriously. And they're not. You know why? They have no training in psychology. None. Zip, zero, zilch, nada. So if they don't understand it, oh, it doesn't affect me, I don't get it. If they're bad cops, they don't do anything about it. If they're good cops and they have some empathy and they know how abusers act. But again, what are we dealing with? In a lot of these positions where there's power, you're dealing with abusers, honestly. The ones who do nothing, I am convinced, probably are disordered. So anyway, there's your little controversial topic for the day. So yeah, the answer to that is they will stalk for a very long time, and they'll stalk until it no longer serves their purpose. So for example, I had a stalker. As soon as I got the order of protection on them, they pretty much quit until the order came up. And then they started again thinking, oh, well, it's been a year. It's up. I can do whatever I want. And I immediately was like, nope, I'm going to reinstate it, and then they left because, it's like, I'm not going to put up with that crap. So there's that. Okay, last question. My high school bully started acting like me and dressing like me. I feel like she is trying to be me. Is this what they do, and why do they do it? They don't know who they are, okay? And so they're bullying you because they see that you have something that they don't. And so abusers are so damaged, so pathological, so disordered that they think that if they can destroy you and become you, that somehow they'll magically have whatever it is that you have that they don't. Great example of that, speaking of stalking and killing people, is John Lennon's killer. I can't even remember the creep's name, and I don't want to. I don't want to say that person's name ever again. He deserves no recognition. But that particular stalker dressed like him, acted like him, married a woman like John Lennon did. Not that John Lennon was a great guy. I understand he was an abuser too. So, but let's just use this for this example. And so in order to become John Lennon, he killed him. And in his crazy head, if I become this person, then I become this person. If I kill them, I become this person. If I act just like them, I become this person. And that's psychotic. So in high school with this little bully person, she's trying to be you because you have something that she doesn't have. And that's why she's bullying you. She doesn't like you because you have something she doesn't have. And it's probably compassion. So ignore, rise above, have nothing to do with. And if the bullying continues, engage your parents to help protect you. Engage teachers, engage the principal, engage the school counselor, make it very clear. Here's the thing I tell parents all the time. When there is bullying going on, unfortunately, in this day and age, the only thing these school districts understand is the threat of a lawsuit. And if you're a parent and your kid's being bullied, you be loud. You be the squeaky wheel, because that's going to get oiled. It is. And, they may huff and puff and, but all you got to do is have an attorney write a letter. Seriously. And that's usually enough to make the bully stop. So there that is. All right, my loves. I am talking about Stockholm Syndrome, trauma bonding, siding with the aggressor, and other ego defenses that you may be seeing with your child during the divorce, because all of this stuff is going to be going on. There's going to be a lot of trauma there. So we're going to be talking about all of that stuff. And it also applies to adults, who've been through trauma and how easily they bond in a trauma situation. So we're going to be talking about Stockholm Syndrome, trauma bonding, siding with the aggressor, other ego defenses on Sunday. So you guys have a great week. Remember, I'm shortening the shows on Sunday to about 45 minutes. So I'm going to do half an hour of talk, 15 minutes of questions, and then we'll be done. All right, guys. You guys have a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.